everyone. Today's been a really long day for me and it's already quite late at night. But I want to finish this devlog and have it out in a few days, so let's start recording while my brain's still working. So welcome to the third devlog. In today's devlog, I want to talk mostly about the UIs of this game. It's still gonna be about the videos and pictures I have in my progress track album, shall I say? But not so strictly in the order they were taken. Since most of them are UI related stuffs today anyway, I thought I could be a little more informative if I just talk about it as a whole. So first of all, I think it's important to point out that this asset pack was the groundwork of my game's UI. This did more than just providing me with the resources for UI elements, because this set the theme of my UI as well. And things like color schemas, layouts, it also acted kinda like guidelines as to how things like pop-ups should look like with the given resources, what and where certain resources should be used in, and all that kind of stuffs. I think this is the biggest advantage, but also the disadvantage of using a complete UI asset pack, because this fixes this style for you. And this is also the main reason for my own UI works and even the title logo to have its current look, because I wanted them to go along with the theme. Talking about the title and logo, this game didn't have its title from the very beginning. It started off as just Project SL. Later, when the time came for me to decide the title of this game, I just thought about what could best describe my game, and Farm Survival Log was the best one I could come up with. I got this concept of logging while deciding the title. And just for the sake of fun, here are a few candidates that could have been nominated and became the title of this game. And then the logo. Well, I did pretty much the same things that I did for the game title. Just came up with few options and improved on the one I liked. You can see that with the end result, there are no hard sharp corners. They are all softened out round edges, just like the UI assets I'm using. Didn't put any bright vivid color on it, just stick with white and gray. Besides the given theme I got from the UI asset, I wanted to add a little more characteristics, and so I decided to make everything somewhat square. It was only a tiny aspect of UI that I tried, but since I'm using tiles and tile maps in this game, I thought square UIs would look great together, and they really do. I really love the way they look right now. Whenever I struggled with some sort of design issue, I could always resort to something square, and it almost always turned out nice. I referenced many games while working on UI, especially Pokemon Quest. Everything in Pokemon Quest is blocky, even the UI. And its style was similar to what I was aiming for, so I was able to get some nice ideas for my UI while playing the game. It also kept me entertained for quite a while. So deciding on the theme and giving it a bit more characteristic, I would say this much was the easy part. The rest gave me quite a challenge in every way, so let's list out a few big ones. First of all, the sheer amount of it. I now believe almost everything in a game needs some form of UI. I had no experience with UI before, and at the beginning, I thought only like the half the things I make would need a separate UI for it. But then I realized any kind of information needs to be presented with a fitting UI, so that it's easy and convenient for users to interact with. This fact alone hit me pretty hard. And my game is text-based game, which means there isn't anything like character control or object interaction, even in the actual gameplay. Instead, there are more UIs in its place, so making all the required UIs was a huge effort. The next challenge was how to be smart with it. Because you don't want instructions and pop-ups to show up every time, everywhere to tell you what to do and notify changes. User interfaces should be intuitive to a certain extent, and I wanted a lot to be done in a better and more beautiful way. This is where you can select stage and begin stage mode. Here I intentionally made the fireflies and the cloud shadows to move from the right to left. It isn't big of a deal, but I wanted to imply that there are more stages on the right without having to tell users to swipe or scroll to view more. I also animated many of my buttons to bounce, kinda like heart beating, to hint users that, this is a button and should be pressed if you want something to happen. So this bounce animation is like a sign for an object being a button in this game now. So I was trying a lot of small stuffs like these, and I said in the last devlog, making the game to look simple is a big challenge for me. And this UI here really is the result of me thinking long and hard about how to tackle that problem. I call this stat wheel, and whenever a stat change, these two wheels will spin so that the most critical pair of stats can face each other. This way, I hope users can notice their situation more easily, especially as they are nearing game over. I don't know if this will work out well. I'm really just rolling my dice to the best of my ability. Tell me what you think, whether this can be improved or should I just take a different approach. The last thing I focused on was how to make it look cool. I am trying to make a game here, not a simple application. And even though I had the UI asset pack, not only it didn't have enough for everything I wanted, I just couldn't help myself but to see room for improvement. And as you can probably guess, this asked for more of my own drawings and animation works. I often took screen snaps of the game and tested how the new UI would look like in Photoshop first. It was easier to move around images, and I had to make the resources in Photoshop anyway. As for animations though, there was no shortcut for it, just went head on and tried this and that until I was happy with the result. I also learned to use Unity particle system thanks to my own grid. This firework was my first particle attempt, and it definitely made things a lot cooler. So after all this, where am I with UIs then, with the current state of the game? Well, I am now nearly done with making all the needed prefabs and some basic scripts for it. They still have a lot of loose ends, but those will need to wait until I'm done with the data works I'm doing. Overall, I think I achieved the desired quality in trade for too much time and too much effort. I really should learn to cut down specs a little. I try to do things which are so inefficient to pull off with my current level of skill. I've been spending really busy time lately, with my job bearing me with so much work for past few weeks, and I expect more to come. It's been really difficult to keep up the progress on this game. I don't want this to be an excuse though, excuse to be less committed to this project. I really am making only tiny baby steps these days, but I'm gonna focus on making those steps. Thank you guys for watching the third devlog. I hope this video was helpful to some of you out there. I think we can reach the top of the progress check album in the next devlog, and at the same time, I also want to talk about the game design choices that I made. So stay tuned, and I will see you in the next one.